Jane friends, let's start the reading of today's newspaper. Start with the SG asks if arrests can be called invalid after cognizance of case. Recently, we have seen the Chief Minister of Delhi has came out of jail on having certain conditions to do the activities, election campaigning for their party. On the same line, the Hemant Sarons has demanded the bail but not granted to him, and this news is about that. Move on to the next. The second news is about the temperature and the environment of New Delhi. Here is the image of two-person in bike-wheeler, two-wheeler, where we see the mirage in hot summer at Vijay Chowk, New Delhi, and the capital settled to the 42.2 degrees Celsius of temperature. My question is for you here that mirage formation is the phenomena which is occur due to the internal reflection of light, due to the dispersion of light, due to the refraction or rarefaction of light. Which phenomena is responsible for the mirage formation? Move on to the next. The another news is about the internal security of India. Recently, we all know that the attack in the Bengaluru cafe take place, in which a blast happened and they just targeted to the people. During that investigation, NIA just have reached to the some places, and in that Bengaluru cafe blast, NIA searched houses of two doctors in Tamil Nadu. Friend, earlier the involvement of terrorists which based on Pakistan has been found in these kind of incidents, like the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Harkat-ul-Jihad-e-Islami, or any another like Tariq-e-Taliban, etc. Then friends, the another news is about the SC Quesis Kerala Governor's nominations to KU Senate. Friend, recently we see the court directed Chancellor to make fresh nominations within the six weeks. Say there is no unbridled power with chancellors. It also dismissed plea against nomination of government representative to Senate. Governor is by the constitutions and by virtue is the chancellor of all the state universities. There is a conflict regarding the duty and the interest of governor while performing the duty of chancellor. Recently, a case has arisen between the heated argument between the Kerala government and the governor. In that case, the Supreme Court has directed the governor regarding the reappointment. Why it is important? It is important from the perspective of education reform, and the education institutions are very helpful and very much have degree of importance in the day-to-day functions and for the keeping the future of state secure. Another news is about the stress of post-violence participations. In the Vijayawada, the people who are involved in the post-election violence in Andhra Pradesh will be held under the jurisdictions of law very soon, and make sure they get their piece of justice, and they just get what they has done to the the election campaign, and that they shouldn't repeat. The example should be set by the authority that they shouldn't be repeat such kind of accident. Friend, today's editorial is about climate change, a passing cloud in Indian politics. As we are witnessing the summer, a hot summer, and the temperature is more than 45 degree in several parts of India, and that intense intense heat, or the changing of pattern we experience, changing of the monsoon, and the changing of occurring of floods, are somewhere point out that this is the time that we should think about climate change. And India being the most vibrant democracy, or the biggest democracy in the world, it is somewhere not appropriate, not having the right no right weightage or right time for the topic like climate change. We keep this focus, and we should plan our all policies in a way that have seen from the glance of sustainable development. In that, the neither the India Alliance or neither the ND Alliance has given concrete plan of actions for the people of India, and it is disappointing for the middle class or the people of educated society who are aware of the fact. These are the things that have mentioned by the author of this article in this editorial page. You can read this. It is a like give some insight how the things are left out of importance. Move on to the next. The sport. This article is about the health of a pregnant woman and the challenges faced by the pregnant woman. This article is talk about the health of a woman and the condition of pre-eclampsia, that is the having hypertension during the time of pregnancy, and in that it deal with the outcome that how life began before birth, and the measures that should be maintained during the pregnancy, before the pregnancy, and after the giving birth. This article talk about the data of National Health Family Health Survey 5 statistics of prenatal mortality rates stand at 32 for 1,000 pregnancies, and neonatality mortality rate at 25 for 1,000 lives birth, and hypertension disorders in pregnancy remain a leading cause of maternal death. On this ending, he talk about the way forward of in form of Samarkashan program of IRIA, that is Indian Radiological and Imaging Association, and with the plea of reducing 8 to 10% from 8 to 10% to the 3%, and fatal grown restrictions from 20 to 30% to the 10%. I think that is that kind of topic and the situations are very rarely touched by the in social media or in the print media. That's the point we make awareness and supports. You can read this article. Vote for change. Kashmir have sought to be use the ballot box to seek this change from the status quo. As we have seen recently, the number and the statistics and the progress in the voting percentage in Kashmir is quite impressive, and which shows that their faith has in the democracy system, and as it is also another achievement for India's, because recently we have abrogated Article 370, and thereafter this that much number of people participate in the election, so the people have participation in power sharing and they are ready to take their own decision. That is the good sign for improving the condition of Jammu and Kashmir. Another is about the end the punishment. Assange should be set free and not extradited to the US. As we discussed it in the 21st May, that the Julian Assange has the trial for Julian Assange is going on in the UK, and US wants the custody of Julian Assange. He is involved in the case of WikiLeaks, which is the case of in which Julian Assange published some of the critical and the strategic defense strategy and very confidential information of US defense forces. Move on to the next. This news is about the risks of Russians nuclear posturing, in which the Harsh Vipant and Aniket K discuss about the assessment that what Russia wants to do, and in that article they mention about Russia's lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. If this become an accepted norm, it could have huge consequence. Definitely, friend, we have seen and listening the news of Ukraine-Russia war from past 2 years, and many times we have seen that the Russia threatened the entire world of nuclear attack. Friend, if nuclear attack happens, then it will impact the entire ecosystem of Earth, and that will entire affect the humanity, attack to the humanity. Eventually, we have seen the consequence of the nuclear attack in Hiroshima, and in 21st century we cannot afford such kind of huge weaponry used in the warfare. For the time being, it's seen that the Russia just only saying for their defense, but we cannot let go the warning coming from the Moscow, because Moscow has known for their dead hand system, and their in preparedness of nuclear warfare is a serious issue. Yes, remain like from the attempt of the world of making a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia is going on. We will see that what is the outcome of the June 15 meeting of peace deal. And move on to the next. The talking about the national news, and the number of Indian trafficked in Cambodia is more than 300, which are many from Visakhapatnam, which have forced to work in the Cambodia for cybercrime and Ponzi scams. Government need to address this issue with the Cambodia to bring back these people from the Cambodia. And recently Cambodia is in news for hosting a meeting with the China, and this by the time Cambodia has and China has making some of deep engagement in the recent time. I think we need to back our own citizen and keep an eye for Maldives in the region. Keep an eye on Cambodia under our Act East policy and the having good relation with the ASEAN. Move on to the next. Amount to be used from frozen Russia assets to help Ukraine. As we have seen that the Western countries and US lead group have seized the US foreign assets, and especially their assets and their money in the form of dollar. Now they just from the assets that they have seized, which is amount to 3.3 billion US dollar, they just give armory and funds to the Ukraine, and it's like a strange thing for all the countries, people, US using Russia's fund against the Russia. It's quite hilarious. Move on to the next. The Syrian soldier killed by Islamic State group militants. We have seen that the Israel and the Palestine war is going on. Recently, the coming of news that 15 Syrian army has sent force to the area where IS attack are common. This see that the whole area of Middle East is in a volatile situation from past few years, and a lot of efforts from country level and from UN level should be done to curb this terror activities and make a peace rule based order. And how it possible? It will possible from the proper participations and equal power sharing in the UN, and it is more effective, uh, more workable when the India has the share in the UN Security Council, because India is a reasonable, responsible partner who can make things right. And apart from that, India is the largest contributor in the blue forces, which maintain peace, UN peacekeeping forces, which maintain peace across the world. Move on to the next. India likely grow for first quarter of fiscal year 25 is 7.5. That is the good news for Indian economy. And the bid for Matisa Pathirana by Colombo striker is recently the Colombian player has become the most expensive player in the Lankan Premier League auctions. And move on to the next news. Analyzing local environmental footprint. This article is about the excessive use of resources by individual, and the recent study highlight that the environment impact of affluent individuals, particularly those who in consumptions beyond the basic needs. We need urgent attention to the environment problems. Friend, next news is about the joint culture in the armed forces is a way forward. CGS Anil Chauhan said that. Friend, as the Indian Defence Forces are working for their integrations, for their interoperability to enhance their capability in the battlefield. So they are working to have work under a single command and in a synchronized way. How they do that? They just do structural reforms, and for that reform, right now we have the three forces: Indian Air Force, Indian Army, and Indian Navy. Every force has their own requirement, and to meet that requirement and their set of modus operandi in a synchronized way is going on, and that point out by the General Anil Chauhan. He also gave us about how the things start with the attempt of CDS, first CDS, General Bipin Rawat, and the things get delay after the death of General Bipin Rawat and after his posting. Now things are improving and the seminars are happening for this collective decision. Again, the news of India GDP. GDP growth is to 6.7% in fourth quarter. ICRA. Slowdown in industry and services and contractions in agriculture likely retard fourth quarter momentum, saying rating agencies sees GDP growth in the financial year 2024, however averaging 7.8% compared with the NSO earlier projections of 7.6 expansion. It's a news and the development regarding the India's economy. And move on to the next news is Israel shuts down Associated Press live video feed of war-torn Gaza. Israel said that it has shut down an Associated Press live video feed of war-torn Gaza on Tuesday, spurring a protest from the US news agency and concern from the White House. Israel Communications Ministry accused that the Associated Press of breaching a new ban on provide rolling footage of Gaza to the Qatar-based satellite channel of Al Jazeera. Friend, in the Israel-Palestine war, the situation is very tense. Israel is on the urge of making things uh, as clear, and they just very aggressive, and they are have in their clear mind that they just totally eliminate the things, and in that they just don't want to telecast their hard actions against the Palestine to the rest of the world, because it built narrative, and if that picture came out, the people will start against protesting against the Israel. That is still going on, but not that much extent. Israel gathering support from some of the support from the in South Asia, in India, and from the US, and some in the Europe. If all the video footage of direct actions came out, Israel will lose the support. Move on to the next. Second satellite with the China's aid to boost Pakistan digital transformation. As Pakistan's space agency, that is Sparko, has come into the existence before the ISRO, but ISRO is far ahead of Sparko. To reduce that gap, with the help of China, Pakistan doing efforts now, and they just launching so-called satellite on providing their digital transformations. But in reality, they just have the technology of China, everything of China, but just at name of Pakistan. At least it's a good news for the perspective of Pakistan. They just trying the things. Move on to the next. Police break up pro-Palestine camp at the University of Michigan. The US that give us lessons on the topic of human right, free speech, and protest. Now they just doing in their own home is have given a wide picture of values of US, and police are dealing with the pro-Palestine camps and the protesters with heavy hand. Move on to the next. US Philippines to train Philippines to operate nuclear power plant. Recently, the how to build and operate nuclear power plant as the Southern East Asian country seeks to boost its electric supply. Under the deal, scholarship and the exchange program will be offered to Philippines to learn from civil nuclear program and renewable energy. Friend, in between the Philippines and US, there is a strong ties, and in military level, they just if any country is under attack, the attack on US is attack on Philippines, and attack on Philippines is attack on US. Another news from sport is para champion Sumit until defeat F64 Javelin World title. Sandeep claimed the bronze. Mariappan in T63 high jump and Ekta in women F51 club throw emerged victorious with 5 more medals won. India tally swells to 10 to be third behind China and Brazil in the medal table. Friend, it is a celebrating things for us, and good news that all sportsmen are doing well in this kind of tournament, and being the most populous country of the world, we should have more number of participants, and that is improving. We have work on our sports field in the form like the recent initiative of government, Khelo India Games, Khelo India University Games, and the sports, the University Open, dedicated University Open for sportsmen are positive actions that give confidence to the sportsman and motivate him or her to do best for the nations and to enhance the prestige of nation. That's from my side. Jai Hind. See you soon.